What's up, y'all? How y'all feeling? What's good? Mic check. 1 2 1 2 1 2. What it is? Vibing with Don Vito. I've been chilling for a little minute. I had to work on a few things with our other show. But check us out, right? B139. Shout out to Keith Cash, Doc, Ted. This is Vibing with Don Vito, right? Where I talk about this topic and stuff. I had to hit on this. Real quick. P. Diddy. Yeah, P. Diddy, bad boy. All y'all know who he is. He come up in the music game. Did very well. Gotta give him his props. Put a lot of people on in the music game. You can't totally, disregard the man. He did a lot of great things in music. But as time went by, somewhere along the lines, his mindset changed. I don't know if it was the fame, I don't know if it was the fortune, but he started doing some wild things, to women, to men, with himself, to each his own with himself. But when you start doing things to people around you, abusing them because you got the power and you got the money. Shout outs, JE90SBK, what up? See you, baby. You gotta check us out, right? Yeah, drugs and fame, that's what got to him. Definitely, drugs and fame got to him, homie. So, he got arrested. I think he got 5 years, 60 months. He got good time. You get 2 months off a year. I think he got the drug program, too. But, somewhere along the line, somebody gonna try you, but not just because you P. Diddy, because it's jail, Jail is like that. So P. Diddy's at Fort Dix Correctional Facility in New Jersey, serving his time. And when you're in the feds, I don't know y'all know about the feds. The feds, your lawyer can request to have you close to home. Fort Dix is one of the closest places like Otisville to New York. So, he's in Fort Dix doing his time, serving his time. And, I heard on the news, breaking news, that P. Diddy got into a fight. Got into a little argument with a dude. I think the dude said something about him that he probably didn't like. And, one thing led to another, and they started fighting. Now, mind you, right? I've been in Fort Dix. That's the reason why I'm talking about this. I've been in Fort Dix, right? And I know how it's the east side and the west side. I heard he was on the west side. In Fort Dix, you got some dudes who got a lifetime, and you got some dudes who got a lot of time. So you mix the guys who got short time with the guys who've been down for a minute, somewhere on the line it's going to get a little ugly, Everybody ain't short timers in Fort Dix, I'll tell you that right now. You know what I'm saying? He's in the low, he's not in the camp. And even in the camps, they get it on. But P. Diddy got into a fight in Fort Dix, and I ain't going to say he got fucked up and nothing like that, but I heard, it went how it went. The dude got off, he got off, and then the COs broke him up, and they put him in solitary confinement. There's no real solitary confinement in Fort Dix. You get locked down, but ain't no real solitary confinement. It's a low, you know what I mean? And he ain't had no weapon or nothing like that, just a fight. So the best thing they probably did for him was lock him down, because once it starts circulating now that, he getting fights and all that, another dude might try you, you know what I'm saying? P. Diddy, his crime was kind of rough. The alleged things they said about him, it turned people the wrong way, put it like that, you know what I'm saying? And you got to understand, right? The feds is a little more laid back in the state, but not that much. dudes in the feds get down. You know what I mean? Okay, we got some people tuning in. We got Soldier Boys 2. What's up, Soldier Boys 2? Got my man JE 90 SBK. You know, how y'all brothers doing? I had to touch on this because I was in the dicks, man. I could not say nothing. You know what I'm saying? Get flashbacks of 4 dicks. Yeah, but P. Diddy in there fighting, man. You know what I'm saying? And, you know, sooner or later it had to happen, man. You know, it had to happen. I thought it was going to happen sooner than this because, you know, dudes, you know, a lot of dudes don't like the way he was kicking on homegirl and all that. Never mind the freak-offs and the baby oil, you know, having dudes sleep with his chick while he watching, jerking off with the baby oil and all that other stuff, allegedly. The violence part, you know what I'm saying, where he was beating Shorty up, looked kind of ugly, you know what I'm saying? And one thing I'ma say, right? And I heard, you know, P. Diddy ain't no chump. I heard he'd get down, you know what I'm saying? So I don't think he's just gonna let nobody be robbing him or taking his shit or even just swinging on him. He gonna fight back, you know what I mean? So y'all might not like his style and all that, you know, whatever, but the dude ain't no punk, man, you know what I'm saying? It was a question that said, was it gonna affect his time? It might not. You know, if it was a quick fight and police broke it up and stuff like that, you're gonna get a ticket. You know, that's what they call like a ticket. You're gonna get a write-up. But that don't mean it's gonna really affect his time. Now, if he got caught with some drugs or he got caught with a weapon or putting some work in, then now we talking about messing with your time. But a fight, people fight all the time, man. You know what I mean? I don't know, man. You still got a little ways to go. And one thing I want to tell you about prison, right? In the state and in the feds, right? Your goal is to make it home, right? Your goal is not to add more time onto your time. And that can happen. You got dudes that come in with short time and wind up getting more time because they got to put work in. Because somebody sized them up the wrong way, said the wrong thing, came at them, and you got to do what you got to do, man. You know, best thing is try to stay away from it. But a lot of times you can't. So even though he short, as they say, he come home in 2028 and it's 2026, them days don't go by fast in jail like they do out here in society. You understand what I'm saying? And this is the truth. Yeah, it was really the truth. And I heard he asked Trump for a pardon sentence. I don't know. Trump might, but then again, he might not, because, you know, it's one thing to pardon somebody's sentence. They got guns, you know, they got tax evasion, even if they got drugs. But when you got the crime he got, you might rub some people the wrong way in the community. But you know, Trump don't care. He do what he want to do anyway. R. Kelly asked for pardon as well. You know, so I don't know. We'll see if he gonna pardon either one of them guys, you know. But I didn't get on here to bash P. Diddy. I just had to put it out, breaking news, you know what I'm saying? Because, you know, everybody else gonna talk about it. I might as well talk about it. It's my lane. You know what I mean? This is my lane. And this is what we do. As a journalist, you know, as a media person, certain things that breaking news, you gotta break when the news happens. You gotta get on it. But yeah, P. Diddy, for those who's just joining, had an altercation in Fort Dix, you know, and I don't know how long it lasted. They said the police broke it up and put him in solitary confinement. How y'all feel about P. Diddy fighting? You know, I want y'all to tune in and tell me something. How do y'all feel about P. Diddy getting in the fight? You know, let me see what was on there, man. Okay, you got my man KOCT, Macap. If I said it right, I'm sorry. What'd you say, bro? P. Diddy be fighting in the middle of a sandwich. It's crazy. Hold up. Let me count some of these views right here, man. They got passed around many men. Why they going in on Puff? P. Diddy only in the wet t-shirt fights. Crazy, man. Listen, but that's what, you know, that's what he gonna get as far as, like, you know, feedback, because, you know, this is how people see it, man. Like, you know, this is how people see it. For real. But, you know, hopefully this brother could turn his life around later on, man. You know, when he come home, don't come home thinking you can do the same thing. Don't come home cocky and all that type of stuff, because trust me, once you go to the feds is always watching you, man. I saw his daughters on TV the other day, and they growing up, and then one thing that they says, listen, don't judge us because y'all judge my dad. In other words, they said, let us live, man. Let us be us. We can't, he's our dad, we can't control him, and we can't tell him what to do or not to do. You know, they trying to make a decent life as young ladies, so, you know, we're going to get them that respect as young ladies, man, and let them thrive and be the young queens that God raised them to be, you know what I mean? But yeah, P. Diddy had a fight in Fort Dix. I guess we might hear something later on, so this Don Vito, I'm about to get off of here. I want to let y'all know, you know, just a little squabble, but we had to jump on that. But soon something happened with Puff, it goes breaking news, P. Diddy, all that stuff. So I'm going to see y'all next time, right? Vibe with Don Vito. I'm back. I was chilling. You know, I was trying to take care of a few things. Real busy guy. Y'all know, y'all see me all over the place. You know, I'm outside. I'm in studios. I'm moving around. I show love to the community. You know, y'all peace out. And we get up soon. Don Vito.